In part C, what we want to do first is when we take a look at the inside, we want to factor that because that gives us a much easier form to work with. So the factored form is -2 bracket x minus 1. Now, because it's the factored form specifically, we can do the horizontal compression by 2 first and horizontal flip before we shift it to the right one. So that's what we'll do. We're going to grab this thing here and we're going to horizontally flip and compress first. Now, the nice thing about this horizontal horizontal flip is it's going to look exactly the same. So whether it's the way it is or horizontally flip, because it's symmetrical about the x-axis, it looks the same. So the flip has happened, and we're going to compress it by 2. So there's our horizontal compression. And then we're going to shift it to the right one. So it's going to end up shifting to the right one. So it's going to look something like about there. Okay, it's going to look about that. So our graph then is our final positioning is like this horizontally. We still need to grab this graph and shift it down 15. So we're going to shift it down. Looking at the scale here, the Y scale is about 30 from the middle to the top. So we're going to shift it about halfway down. And so we end up with this graph that looks like this. As for D, it is the same thing. So, but at D, what we're going to introduce in there is a vertical flip and expansion. And we're going to factor this inside. So horizontally, it's the same. But now we're going to do a flip and expansion vertically first before we shift it down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the horizontal transformation. And after horizontally transforming it, it's going to look like that. Okay, so we have our horizontal transformations all taken care of. From this point, what we're going to do is do first the flip and vertical expansion before we shift it down 15. So I'm going to grab it again. I'm going to horizontally flip it. Now, flipping this, I'm going to have to rotate this to flip it. Okay, so flipping it, it's going to give us a graph that looks like this. Okay, so the vertex is going to be about there. So that's a horizontal flip. And then keeping track of the vertices there, the vertices, I think it's just going to be a little bit higher here. Okay, so keeping track of the vertices here, it looks like the vertices are negative 15. So I'm going to stretch it down to negative 30, right about down to there. And that position gets shifted up to probably positive 2 there. Okay, so we get a vertical flip and then we shift it down 15, so it's going to be down somewhere around there. So vertical flip expansion, and we end up with a graph that looks similar to this.